So guys, it's me, Killman64, and we're going to be talking about Sonic Adventure 2, or the release of Sonic Movie 3, because it looks like the movie is going to be taking a lot of inspiration from Sonic Adventure 2, which, I'm going to be honest, I love Sonic Adventure 2. That game is one of my favorite games of all time. I enjoy playing it, and it's just such a blast. I can remember the first time I played the game. I actually played the demo as a joke, because I only heard that Sonic Adventure 2 is bad, but when I played the demo, I started to like the game, and then the day after I bought the game and I enjoyed it. I really liked it. It was such a fun game. It was the first Sonic game I ever beat. That's like the reason why I like the game so much. And before we talk about the game itself, we're gonna go over a little brief history. I'm gonna get some of this information from the Wikipedia page. So yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 is the sequel to Sonic Adventure 1. No shocker there. After the release of Sonic Adventure, it was a moderate success, and the flop of the Sega Dreamcast, Sonic Team was relegated to a more smaller team, and they're gonna make a game on a much smaller scope, and that was Sonic Adventure 2. And Sonic Adventure 2 was directed by Takashi Iizuka. Hope I pronounced his name right.
Takashi Iizuka.
And the game was produced by Yuji Naka, which, fun fact, he's actually a criminal. And the reason why he is because he got arrested for inside trading. If you want to know more on that, then look it up. So yeah, that's a little brief history on Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 2's story is split up into 3 different things: Heroes, Dark, and Last. And I really like the story of Sonic Adventure 2. It's really good. I find it really fun and intriguing. I think it's one of the best stories they told in any Sonic games. It's not without its problems. Everything has problems. The one real problem I have with it is the fact that everyone confused Sonic with Shadow, even though they don't really look too much alike. But then again, that doesn't really hurt the story in any way. It's still really good, and it's still really enjoyable. I think you should, if you want to play this game, you should give the story a chance. And I think my favorite story in this game has to be the Dark story. It just gives you a lot of context what happens in Hero Story. Hero Story just kind of throws you into it without any real context. But Dark Story gives you all the context that the Hero Story doesn't. It puts the pieces together. And I think the best character they had in this game is Shadow. I didn't really like Shadow, but he went from being this evil guy to just being a good person. It's just that his hatred and vengeance was blinding him from what Maria's real promise is. And I think that's pretty good. And I also just think that the last story is pretty good, but not as good, because it's supposed to wrap everything up. It's the true ending of the game, and I like how everyone comes together to take down the big bad. And it was just really good. And Shadow kind of just dies at the end of the game. Spoiler alert, even though this game is 20 plus years old. But it's really good. And there's one moment I really like from this game. It's at the end of it. It's when everyone's leaving the colony arc and Sonic just looks back and says, "Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog." That's just such a good moment. And I really like it. So yeah, the story of this game is pretty good, and I actually really like it. So now we're going to talk about the gameplay of Sonic Adventure 2, and I really like the gameplay. And like the stories. It's split up into 3 different playable styles. You have Sonic and Shadow, which are the speed characters, and they have all the speed stages, or what they call it, action stages. You have Tails and Eggman, they have the mech stages, and Rouge and Knuckles have the treasure hunting stages. But I'm going to talk about the Sonic and Shadow stages first. I really like them. I like all of them. I think they're pretty fun. I used to think that some of them weren't that good, like Crazy Gadget and the final level for Sonic. I used to think they're not that good, but when I played the game more, I actually started to respect the levels, and I really love it. And who cannot talk about the best level in this game is City Escape. That is such a good way to open up your game with City Escape. That's such a good first level. It introduces you to the game so well, and that's why I love it so much. Also, that theme is great. You have Shadow's levels, which Shadow, I'm pretty sure, only has like 4 levels or something. I don't really know. Oh, I don't really remember, actually. I do play this game a lot, but I don't really remember that. But Shadow has a lot of good stages, and my favorite one from Shadow's group of levels is White Jungle. This level is so good, and I played it so much in battle mode that I actually know how to A-rank the level. And that's just pretty good. Now the mech stages, I actually really like them. I think the mech stages are pretty fun. I don't find them as tedious, as annoying as some other people do, but that's just me. I really like them. I found them pretty fun. And then they're just an evolution of the Gamma stages from Sonic Adventure 1. And I think they're pretty good. My favorite stage for Eggman, I think, is the one where you're on Prison Island. That is pretty fun. That level is really, really cool because you're just destroying millions of dollars worth of tech. And my favorite Tails level is actually a level that people don't really like too much, is Mission Station. I love Mission Station. It has such a good theme, and I just think it's so good. It's such a good level, and I love it so much. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the mech gameplay. Now you have the Rouge and Knuckles gameplay, which I really like the Rouge and Knuckles gameplay. I think it's pretty good. I like the treasure hunting. I think it's really fun, really intuitive, and I just really like it. A lot of people say they don't really like that, but I like it, and that's all that matters to me. To me, they're very fun, except for 2 levels, which, if you know, you know. Mad Space and Meteor Herd. These levels suck. I completely understand why people don't like them. They're so bad. Like, they're just not that fun to play, and they're just really, really boring because you're stuck on them for so long. Like, it is just so annoying and tedious, and that's just really what I have to say about those levels. Then you also have some random stuff in gameplay, racing levels that Tails and Rouge have, which are really strange and out of place, and I kind of despise. I don't kind of despise them. I hate those levels. They are so bad, and they're just not that fun. And they tell you can play them in battle mode, which I'm gonna be real, I never played them in battle mode. And let's actually talk about battle mode. Battle mode is really fun. I really like it. I think it's very cool that it has a multiplayer mode. And if you have any siblings or you have any friends, it's a pretty good time. But there's one thing I'm not really going to talk about in the gameplay, and that is the Chow Garden. I'm going to be real. I've never been a big fan of the Chow Garden. Now, I don't think it's bad. I just never personally liked it. I like the main game more. And here's the thing, you can like the Chow Garden. You're completely fine with me. I just don't really like it too much. And that's really what I gotta say about gameplay. It's pretty good. I actually really like it. So, yeah, let's move on to the next thing. Alright, we gotta talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack of Sonic Adventure 2 is nothing short of amazing. I love almost every track in this game. It's just so good. The tracks I don't even really like, I still think they're not terrible. And that really says something about this game. I love the stage music. I love the character songs. My personal favorite character song is It Doesn't Matter. That's such a good song in my opinion. Really like it and I really enjoy it. I think Knuckles' theme is not as good as the original ME. And that theme isn't even really that good either, so But yeah, if there was one theme I could say, or two themes I could say I don't really personally like, is Amy's theme. I never really liked Amy's theme in the first game, so I'm not really gonna like in this game. And Throw It All Away. Throw It All Away has a good instrumental, but the lyrics are not that good. But I still think it's pretty funny that they played Throw It All Away in the cutscene where Maria died, because it's just so off-putting. It's just actually tonal whiplash. But yeah, I think the soundtrack of this game is great, and you can't talk about the soundtrack without mentioning the single greatest song in this game, Live and Learn. I think Live and Learn just might be one of the best Sonic main themes, or the best Sonic main theme ever made. It is so good. I even would say it's like the best video game main theme in my opinion. I just really like Live and Learn, and I really like this game. So yeah, that's the soundtrack. I think it's pretty good. Now we're gonna talk about the pros and cons. Every game has its pros, every game has its cons. And we're gonna talk about the cons first. And one of the cons is that this game is very buggy. Like, let's be real, this game has some bugs. Like, it's not very buggy, it just has a couple bugs. The game is old, and also it might be because I play the battle version, because that's the one I own, and apparently the battle version of the game is not as good as the original version, which I can't really say too much on, because I, again, never really played the original version of the game. I've only heard things about it, but other than that, the game still kind of has some bugs. I was trying to beat Metal Harbor with an A rank, and the game just would not really work sometimes. Sometimes I try to use the Lightspeed Dash, but it would use the roll, and sometimes the roll just wouldn't work for no reason. And then sometimes I would just completely lock on to the wrong things, and it would just kind of ruin the entire run. I also heard that the grinding in this version, in the battle version of the game, is not as good as the original version. But I, again, like I said, never really played that version, so I can't really speak on that too much. Another con is the boss fights. Is they're not really that good in this game. They're kind of a bit dumb. Like, their AI just doesn't really work, especially the fights with different characters. They'll just sometimes stand in place and do nothing for like seconds on end. So that's kind of a iffy part of the game. Another con is the fact that Mad Space and Meteor Herd is in this game. They're just not really that good. They're kind of just not fun levels. And that's kind of all the cons I have about this game. Now, some of the pros is the soundtrack. It's really good. There's really good music, and I just really like it. Another pro is the final boss. I know I said the bosses weren't that good, but I didn't say the final boss. I think the final boss is like really good, mostly because it plays Live and Learn. If it didn't play Live and Learn, it probably wouldn't be as good as it is. But yeah, and one of the other pros is that Shadow is just a pretty good character, and I can say that for most of the characters in this game. So the pro is just gonna be characters. I really like how they're written in this game. To me, they're pretty good. Another pro is the story. That's pretty good. And the last pro I'm gonna mention is, I may not really like it too much, but I know a lot of people would be unhappy if I don't mention it, and I know a lot of people like it. It's the Child Garden. For those who like games where you take care of animals, the Child Garden is pretty good. And I'm not going to discredit it or say it's bad. I just don't really like it. So yeah, I think those are all the pros of Sonic Adventure. And those are all the cons. I think it has a pretty even amount of pros and cons. Most of the pros are probably me being biased, but we're not really gonna talk about that right now. So now for the conclusion of this video, I still pretty much like Sonic Adventure 2 with all of its problems. I still really like it. And if you really liked watching this video, another member of the Rat Gang, ItzBluestone's gonna be uploading a Sonic Heroes video soon. So I think you should go watch that right after this video, if it's already up by the time I upload this video. If it's not, just wait for it. But yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 will forever and ever be a game that I like. It's very near and dear to my heart. It's like the first Sonic game I ever beat and ever played, and I really liked it. And it's just such a good game. It doesn't even matter what other people say. I will never give up the enjoyment I had playing this game. As long as the voice inside drives me to run and fight, it doesn't matter whose opinion is right or whose is wrong.